Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kire here with another Exos Heroes video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about exactly every single possible way to increase the strength of your characters. There's actually a lot to it. There's a whole bunch of little things about this game when it comes to how to increase the power of a character. And I think it's worth its own video. We're going to cover every single way to do it in this one. So let's start with the basics. The how to increase someone's power. And when we're talking about power, there's a whole bunch of stats here that we need to go over. But the main thing is, first thing is going to be gear, and it's going to be their level, and that's going to increase the power. When you level someone up, you're going to get health, defense, and attack. And the higher level, the more you're going to get in that. How do we do that? How do we go from there? So 5-star characters can go to 75. 4-star characters can go to 60. 3-star characters can go to 45. But they can all break those thresholds. As you see here, I got a legendary character that's now 5-star. She's 79. I got characters here that are 5-star or that are now 6-star, and they can go well beyond 75, stuff like that. And then we also even got a rare character here that's 5-star now. So how do we get there? And that's through enhancing and then blessing. And the same concept is going to apply to all levels. It's just the amount of resources required is going to increase as we go up. Okay, so first thing is you got to enhance a character, and what this does is it slightly improves their power, and you can only do it 5 times per tier. So if you're a 3-star, you can do it 5 times, and then you bless them. Then now you're a 4-star character. Then when you can bless, be enhanced 5 more times and then get blessed, then enhance 5 more times and get blessed. And then when you're at the max, you can be enhanced 5 more times. Okay. And how you enhance someone is you take either enhancing materials or you take other characters. I recommend always using enhancing materials. And then based on their star level is going to determine the odds of it actually working. So for example, she's a 5-star character. I have a 5-star enhancement. That's 100% chance I pay that much gold. If I take a 4-star, now I have a 50%. If this was and then see how there's typing. If this was a nature, because she's nature, I get a small boost in percentage. I'd get a 5% boost, so that'd be 55% chance. So now I take 4-star, same thing, 4-star character, but I don't want to waste a character on this because I can get specific materials for it. And then let's say take 5-star nature or a 4-star nature. See, 55. See, you get that bonus there. Then let's take a 3-star. 3-star nature, 27%. Let's take a 2-star. Let's see if I have a 2-star. 2-star, 10%. If I take a 1-star, you can't even use it because she's 5-star. So then those odds are going to change based on that was a 5-star character. Now let's take a look at this character. Since she's been blessed, enhanced, those same things. If I take a 5-star thing, notice how it's only 50%. It always changes based on what star level. If it's the same star level, then it's going to be 100%. If it's one tier below, it's 50%, and so on. So now this one's 25%. So that's what happens when you enhance it. Then you also get bonus improved rates every time you fail a thing, and then it helps increase it to where you're not constantly failing over and over. It gives you a little pity timer. I like how everything that involves RNG in this game, or at least most everything, at least gives you some kind of pity timer in some shape or form. So then that's what enhancing is. Then once someone's fully enhanced, which is 5 for their corresponding star level, then you can bless them. For example, this person can be blessed. And what blessing does is that it increases their maximum potential level. So I feel like she's a bad example because she's transcended. I haven't really gone over transcending. So for example, this guy, he is fully enhanced. He has one transcend, so it's not going to be too complicated. But notice how, if I want to bless him, he is from 77 to 92. When you transcend someone, you get an additional +2 levels. And transcending is done by taking a copy of that exact same character and putting it into the other one. That's what transcending does. The other character I thought was a little bit confusing because it was transcended 5 times. And you can max a character by transcending them 5 times. That requires 5 additional copies of them. So when it comes to Baraka here, I've only gotten an additional copy. I pulled my first copy of Baraka, then I pulled the FC version. We'll get into that later. So now we got this character here. After the full enhancement, I can now bless them using all these materials you see here, if I had them. And then it would increase his maximum mana from 5 to 10. And it would increase his maximum level from 75 to 90. But since he is transcended one time, 77 to 92. Okay. So then that is going to give you potential for a lot more stats after you level them up. Keep in mind that going from 77 to 92 is massively more exponential in the amount of experience tomes you're going to use to get each respective level. But that's how you're going to get more stats there through leveling. And then the absolute max level in this game is 100. It requires them to be fully, enhanced and blessed on this tier, 6-star. And then it's going to take 5 copies. Then you're going to have to level them all the way up to 100. It's going to take an absolute crazy amount of books to do that. But that is the maximum level you can get. There's a whole bunch of other ways we're going to be able to improve someone's power in this game as well. We're just getting started here. This is actually a long video. So, okay. So that's how this works. And then keep in mind, so this Holy Water of Sage and Holy Water of the Universe are always going to be required regardless of type. The thing that will change though is based on their type is you're going to need a machine version of this crystal, a fire version of this crystal, whatever. And then you're also going to need the machine version in his case of these essences. And these essences could be crafted by taking 4 of these guys and then making these. So for example, I need 1 so I can craft it. So we'll take 1, it takes 4 of these, crafts 1, boom, I assembled it. And then now notice how I have 3 of 3 and then 5 out of 32 there. And then 15 or 3 out of 15 there. So then, but the big bottleneck here is always going to be the Holy Water of the Universe. These things are incredibly rare. And if you try to whale out for these, they're incredibly expensive and they limit you if you want to whale out. I don't recommend it. You're slowly going to get them through challenges. And then usually they drop in pairs of 2. At least I've had them drop for me twice, and they've always dropped in a pair of 2. But they're incredibly rare. I know friends of mine that play this game that have never gotten a drop. And I've been playing about 2 weeks. I've been doing all the challenges. They've only dropped twice for me, and so I consider myself lucky because they've even dropped once. So just keep that in mind that they're incredibly rare. It's not that important to get people fully maxed. Eventually, it will be. But it's more important to have your account wide, but that's more of an opinion thing. We're just talking about getting characters strong. So next, now that we understand levels, we understand enhancing, transcending, leveling there. So now let's talk about gear. Well, actually, no. Let's talk about, let's talk about gear. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about how normal characters work, and then we're going to talk about fake cores later, because that's going to be a whole other topic. Okay. So then, now that we got that, here's gear. So gear can be, you'll notice the amount here. This is gonna get complicated. We're gonna break this down. Gear could be in multiple types. It can be, rare. You'll see blue. The max level for blue gear can go to 20. We got legendary gear here. The max level is 30, and then we got faded gear. The max level is 40 when you first get them. But they can all be reforged to higher levels. So for example here, you'll see that I have this character here. Notice how this can go up to 50. This can go up to 50 as well. This one's 40. And then this is what reforging does, is it takes this gear and it allows you to go further. It's very similar to the whole blessing, transcending thing. And it uses these materials here. And these materials you're going to get from the lunar challenges. The lunar challenges are going to give you these, crude meteorites. And then also you're going to want to be on the lookout for when you go higher. Here, let me see if I can polish this. This is important. Okay, so now when you're trying to go up from a level 50 piece, you can reforge it. And then another thing is going to be these mystic meteorites from 50 to 60. And then these adamantiums, stuff like that. So these are all going to be very important things to be stacking up for to when you get a good piece of gear that you're going to want to take up. So then that's for legendary. Same concept applies for faded gear. Faded gear is just always going to be a better version of your legendary or rare gear. From my experience, I'm reforging legendary and legendary and faded gear only. I don't even really mess with rare gear. You're going to want to replace all that for at least legendary gear as you go through. Okay. So then as you can see, what it's doing is it's increasing the base stat. So as you're doing this, as you're leveling up all these pieces of gear, what's happening is notice how, see this one's level 50. Let's take hers. So notice how 211 attack for a level 30 piece of gear. And then we got
Do you need me?
This piece, let's see if we got a 40. Let's go to back over here. And then level 40 piece has 236. So you got a slight increase in the attack there. 50, 268. And then we got, 60. I don't got a good example of 60. Let's see. And then I have a 60 legendary piece.
Can't you do better?
I don't. Okay, but slightly higher. And then, so that's how you're going to slowly improve your attack stats, is through gear here, by slowly improving them. What I should have said in the beginning is when it comes to gear, you have your top row. Notice how your top row is all attack. So it's attack, attack, and then attack. Then on the bottom row is always defense. So defense, defense, and then defense again. So then there's 3 stats to look out for. So for example, when it comes to there's ranges that these can roll in. And it's really important that you make sure you're trying to get the higher version of these. So for example, attack speed can roll. If you look at all these, see how this one has 3.2 attack speed, but this one only has 8.5 crit damage. They all have a roll. Keep in mind that legendary gear, the worst rolled faded piece will always be better than the best rolled legendary piece. It's very important when it comes to, maximizing your stuff. So, but this could be rolled a lot better because the crit damage, 10.6 is the max you can get. 3.2 is the max attack speed you can get on a legendary piece. But on a faded piece, you can go up to, I believe, like 13 point something. You can go up to like 80 on critical hit. Critical hit doesn't even exist on a legendary piece. Attack speed could go up even higher, stuff like that. But so even the highest version, the lowest rolls can always will be better. It's not could be, always will be better. The highest hit rate roll will always be lower than the lowest hit rate roll for legendary pieces, and you can guarantee that by going here to like the forge, and then as you can see here, let's go to faded weapon. We have here 11.2 to 13.3, 67.2 to 80, 3.36 to 4. And then that's, for example, what to expect when it comes to the stats you can get when it comes to faded pieces of gear. And then if you looked here, for example, let me see if they show, they don't, but take my word for it. So that's the maximum there. That's how gear is going to work for you in increasing your stats. You're going to slowly use these resources to build those up, and that's going to build your stats for the character. And then, as you can see here, the stats have gone up considerably than what they normally are because of all this gear. And then, so yes, in this case, I have a lot of faded gear, and they're not only is it faded gear, but it's leveled faded gear, and that's increasing his stats up in the attack and defense range. Okay, and then the levels are going to be the thing that increases his health, attack, and defense. And then the pieces these are going to be your ways of increasing the critical damage, hit, attack speed, critical hit. That's all gear stuff. So now that we got how the gear works, and then now let's take the last part of the gear. I think this is really important. This is going to be some of the biggest parts of how you get a lot of power out of gear. Is if you've seen these right here. See this? This looks all crazy. What is this? Is this some kind of faded piece? No, what it is it's a legendary piece that I took to 60. Okay. Then there's a thing called Weapon Awakening. What Weapon Awakening is it's taking these pieces here. These look familiar. These things here are 5 colored fate stones. You get this from doing the dragon. It's a raid in the game. And then what happens is when you first do this, I believe the success rate's like 90, when you're on the first attempt, it takes a ton of silver or a ton of gold in this game. But you get massive attack boosts. Like, this is some of the quickest ways of getting crazy attack numbers. You can take something, for example, like look at this. This is a 60. And notice how every little increase so far has been like 20 attack. Like, you go from 40 to 50. That's like 20 attack, maybe 15 attack. You like look at the difference here. So for 40 to 236, 50, 268, 60 with this 429, a massive increase because of this weapon awakening thing. And you could do that. You can also, I could do that here too if I wanted to. This weapon awakening, I could do it. See, notice, so the success rate is actually 100%, and I would get 30 points of attack if I wanted to do this. Well, I want to do this here. The reason why I don't is because I want to make sure, first of all, it's incredibly expensive, and I don't have this the gold for it, but I'm trying, this is a side thing, I just want Bathory to have more attack than my Xeon because of the Tranquil passive. So that's why I'm not doing that. But that's how Special Awakening works for weapons. Now let's talk about how level 60 piece of gear works. It's a little different. What this is, it's magical enhancement. And this is where it gets a little weird because so far there's been no drops of or any sight of this aura mana in the game yet. But doing this, once we get 5, you'll be able to add a stat randomly rolled. You get to add a stat. I believe you have a potential to improve the stats that are already rolled on here. So it's going to change considerably how your gear is going to be. I don't know the specifics yet. I've never got to try it. All I've gotten is to this point. Maybe someone from the Korean server can explain how this works, where to get it. My guess is it's either going to be from completing far parts into the raid, or it's going to be once you have a squad and the squad is level 5, and then they have the raid store open for your air squadron, then maybe in a shop, you'll be able to buy these things after doing some raids and then actually get to use this. So that's my guess here. But I won't know until we actually get to that point in the game. But so that's how all the leveling. And then lastly, this is going to be crazy in game, but there's a thing called special reforging. What special reforging is you take a piece of gear and you take another 60 and then you put it in and then you special reforge it, and then it's giving you an extra 2 levels. So this is going to go from 60 to 62, and you can special, I'm assuming you can special reforge 5 times, like you can transcend 5 times. And so that's going to be incredibly late game. And that's another way of increasing your stats. That's I'm not there yet. I don't know exactly how much you get there, but I'm assuming quite a lot. And it's going to take a ton of the polishing stuff to do that. So now that we got, so it's crazy. There's a lot of stuff here. I know there's a lot of information when it comes to that, but that's going to be mainly how you can level up your characters, and then also how you can gear them up to make them as strong as possible. So I say all this, and this doesn't explain Fate Cores, because Fate Cores, it gets a whole lot weirder. And there's a whole bunch more stuff when it comes to Fate Cores. And so let's break that down. Because now that we got the gear and then the transcending and the blessing, that's all the same, regardless if you're a normal character or if you're a Fate Core character. Fate Core characters specifically have a whole bunch of other ways of increasing their power. And as you can see here, notice how, okay, so out of all these characters, notice how we have Fate Core Xeon here, we have Fate Core Bathory, Fate Core Anastasia, we have Fate Core Rachel. So all these characters, now see this number here, this plus 10, plus 7, plus 2, stuff like that. That is all from doing the moves. So you go to recruit, and what the moves are these guaranteed things. So notice, see this thing, you probably are familiar with this guy. Recruit 11 times and you'll receive an exclusive Fate Core for enhancement. Specifically, that's what they're for, is they're for enhancing a character. So then what you do is you would go to your Fate Core here, and you could do this 30 times. But the odds get incredibly low to do it. So you take it, and then you go here. Once you're in the whole managing of your Fate Core, you go here, you go to enhance, and then you drop it in. And for me, if I try to do this, going from 10 to 11, I believe it's like 20% odds of actually getting it to work. But I would get, obviously the enhancement level would go up 1, but then the attack would go up 13, defense 10, HP by 158, like crazy, man. It's exponential on how much you actually gain from this each time, but the odds of it actually working are incredibly low. I wish I had some to show you exactly how much, but that's a really important part of fake core characters and why they're so much better is because they have this additional way of getting so many more stats than a normal character that is not a fake core. Even if you took it, and then a lot of times fake core characters have like different abilities. Like obviously, FC Xeon has massively more abilities than the normal Xeon. But even if you just took Xeon and then a fake core version of Xeon, he's instantly a better character by a long shot because he's going to be able to have so much more stats at his disposal. So that's just one part of the fake core thing. The next thing about fake core is going to be the fusion aspect. And this is very specific to, as you can see here, look at how all these fake cores, there's no number, whereas these have a 1 next to them. So my Reed Marie and my fake core Xeon both have a 1 there. And what that means is they've been fused. And this is probably one of the biggest, I think this is the biggest stat boost in the entire game by one thing, which is fusing 2 fake cores. So that means I pulled not just 1 fake core, but 2. And then what you could do is you could fuse it, and you go here to fusion, and then look at these stat boosts. So if you look at a normal, and let's just look at a better example. Let's go to Rachel here. Let's say I pulled a second Rachel, not just a second Rachel, but a second fake core version of a Rachel. What you could do is you could fuse them, and then look at this massive change. Not only is he getting, his attack goes from 67 base to 122 to 167. His defense could go double or triple. His health pool can double or triple. His attack speed, he can actually improve his attack speed. So it's like, not only is it like adding a legendary piece or a faded piece of gear, it's adding, a massive stat boost. It's like, it's crazy. There's no other thing that relates that can relate to exactly how much of a stat boost fusing a character is. And you can do this multiple times. You can do this a whole bunch of times, but the stat boost, gets lower and lower, and it takes an crazy amount. Just pulling one of these guys is crazy, let alone multiple. But at least they have an answer for duplicates in this game, even down to something as rare as multiple fake core of the same character. So massive stat boosts are in store if you do that, and that's gonna be one of the ways to do it. And so then with that those are the ways of increasing power in this game. You have the fake core, you have the and then lastly, here let's do the absolute last thing I neglected to mention is going to be set bonuses with faded gear. So for example, is you take this gear here and notice how it says obtain additional 120 health when getting a 6 set of guardian stones of the same element. So if I sat here and got one more, then I would change my normal stone to, like, let's say I went all dark. So I would change my break stone to dark, and then I would go dark, dark, and then dark across the board. I change them all to dark. Then I would not only gain the set bonus of 30, I would gain heal from damage 30%, but then I would also gain an additional 1,200 health there as well. And so that would be the last way of gaining stats. And then let alone, you can argue like gaining stats is like through passives. For example, he has the passive here of command, where anyone of lower health than him gains defense and health by 20%. And then tranquil here, everyone besides her gains 20% health, for example. Those are other ways we can improve stats, but mainly if you just want to take a character regardless of all these synergies and stuff, these are going to be all the ways to making sure your characters get as much, strong as possible. These are all the ways to do it. Hopefully I explained that well for you guys. Going to break down exactly what to expect going forward on how to increase the strength of your characters. Definitely, as I've been saying in my other videos, a lot more to come when it comes to this game. I'm really enjoying it so far, so I'm going to be covering this, a lot more guides on the way. I'm realizing as I'm doing these videos, so much more to talk about, even as I'm doing the videos. Stay tuned for more, and I hope you guys have a good one. Peace.